Warm, inviting tone. Meet Kitty. On the surface, she's living a life most people would envy, starting her morning with a picturesque breakfast and a steady stream of social media validation. But look a little closer, and the picture changes. Underneath that carefully curated feed lies something much darker and far more dangerous. Katy Brent's novel, How to Kill Men and Get Away with It, uses this extreme contrast to hold up a mirror to our daily lives. It asks why we are so obsessed with seeking approval and looking flawless online. To answer that, we are going to break down 3 specific pieces of Kitty's story: the hidden psychological cost of living for likes, how unhealed pain from the past shapes our present decisions, and how toxic relationships actually begin. To see how an everyday person can talk themselves into doing the unthinkable, we have to start by looking at the psychological masks we all wear just to fit into society. Kitty's day job is being a social media influencer. Her daily routine involves giving quick-fix diet advice and selling impossible beauty standards to impressionable young fans who follow her every move. But privately, she hates it. This chart shows the exact tension she experiences. She feels an immense weight of guilt for pushing these unrealistic standards, yet her livelihood depends on keeping up the smiling, flawless act. This illustrates how we often help fuel toxic systems we secretly hate, just to keep our own place in the world. It's like feeding a machine that builds the very walls that trap us. For Kitty, the constant stream of notifications and the pressure to perform turns into deep disenchantment. She begins to resent the very people giving her the attention she originally thought she wanted. When you spend your entire life pretending to be someone else, the internal pressure eventually has to go somewhere. The disconnect between who she is and who she pretends to be creates a severe fracture, laying the groundwork for extreme behavior. That fracture actually started years earlier. During Kitty's childhood, a toxic figure in her life forced her to visit an abattoir, exposing her directly to the gruesome reality of a slaughterhouse. Trauma often works like a seed planted in the dark. When it is ignored and then watered by toxic relationships later in life, that pain takes root and grows into something incredibly difficult to untangle. That specific exposure pushed Kitty to stop eating meat entirely, but it also had a secondary effect. It deeply desensitized her to the sight of blood and physical destruction. Years later, this exact desensitization allows her to do something chilling. When she finds herself needing to dispose of a victim, she is able to walk right back into a slaughterhouse and systematically dismember them, while calmly navigating the legal risks. When severe trauma is left unaddressed, it quietly rewires a person's moral compass. It shows how easily victims of a toxic environment can adopt the same dark behaviors they were exposed to. So, how does a person go from accidentally killing a persistent stalker in self-defense to actively hunting down their next victim? It comes down to how she justifies her choices. This seesaw represents Kitty's logic. She starts with a justifiable action, protecting herself, but she quickly adds a new justification. She decides she is only targeting bad men, letting vengeance tip the scales. We see this same spiraling pattern in toxic relationships. What begins at the top as an intense, passionate connection can easily slide down into manipulation and emotional neglect if there are no clear boundaries in place. When Kitty finds an unexpected thrill in that first act of violence, her perspective shifts. As her decisions spiral out of control, she finds it easier to justify each new horrific choice, slowly erasing the line between what is necessary and what is monstrous. Kitty's descent is a cautionary tale. If we use our own past trauma as a blank check to justify causing harm today, we risk becoming the exact source of pain we initially set out to destroy. Kitty's extreme violent journey serves as an intense metaphor for the lengths people go to when they feel they've lost all control or have been rejected by the world around them. There are 2 immediate lessons we can take from her story. First, comparing your actual life to someone else's heavily filtered online presence is a losing game. Second, when someone rejects you, it is vital that you do not internalize their actions as a reflection of your own worth. Additionally, if you don't actively work to heal your past traumas, They will quietly steer your decisions, and without strict personal boundaries, the line between right and wrong blurs much faster than you might think. Meeting our own insecurities and heartbreak with genuine self-compassion provides the most effective defense against our own worst impulses. Let's take a quick moment to test how well you've grasped the psychological patterns we've just covered. Question 1. What does Kitty's internal conflict over beauty standards actually highlight about influencer culture? It highlights the heavy tension between maintaining a public persona and honoring your private morals. Question 2. How does Kitty convince herself it's okay to keep hunting down victims? She uses a mental trick where she decides she's only hurting bad people, which makes her feel like she's still doing the right thing. Question 3. True or false? Toxic relationships always feel toxic from the very beginning. False. They often start with an intense, passionate connection before breaking down. The next time you scroll past a perfect life online, take a breath. Challenge yourself to look past the filters, both on your screen and in your own life, and bravely confront the messy reality underneath. Thanks for watching.